Welcome back to the Modcast. My name's Gabe Anderson,
I'm Jake Overall.
and we're a bunch of fucking idiots.
Yep, pretty much.
But what are you going to do?
I can't click a button.
Yeah. You know, stuff happens. We're still getting used to this. 11 episodes, though, before that happened.
Yeah,
So
it's pretty good.
Yeah, I'll give that to you.
Lost my edge a little.
Yeah. What are you going to do, though?
What we should tell people is what that teaser video was about on our channel.
The one with all of our fun little impact noises and stuff.
Yep, tear down and beat back together.
Yeah. I've had the opportunity to work on a 2023 Ram 1500 with the eTorque mild hybrid system, which is a very interesting thing. We're going to go into a little detail on two aspects of it. I want to talk about this mild hybrid system, but as far as this weekend goes, I did a 3-inch front, 2-inch rear lift kit on this truck, and we put some 35s on it. Nothing crazy. And actually now, because it's more up to date, because Monday's episode didn't work. Now we've also put an exhaust on and a couple other things too, which we'll have some videos of. So
definitely.
Yeah.
This is a little off the actual Ram topic itself, but is that like a typical lift you see like people do to pretty much any brand? Is that sort of a level front?
Yeah, it's since I've started working there, and I've been doing pretty much, I think I've done 99% of the lift kits. Like, I think I literally might not have done one or two since I've been there. Generally speaking, it's leveling kits, front lifts, maybe a little bit of rear lift with a little front lift. I've done the biggest truck I built or did any sort of lift to was a 2021 F350. We did a 6-inch lift and put on 37s.
Wow.
Truck was fucking massive. And then I did two actually consecutive. It was really weird. I had never done a big lift on a Silverado before, and then in a 1-week period, I did two 6-inch lifts on two brand new trucks. One was a V8 truck, and one was the new inline 6 diesel.
That must have been a cool experience.
That was a cool experience. It was terrible because one of those trucks was the guy had purchased the lift kit used, sort of. It was brand new in the box, but it wasn't from the manufacturer. He had bought it off Facebook.
Okay.
And it was missing half the stuff. Half the stuff was wrong. Oh, it was.
That's not good. So yeah, we talked about
fun.
Spare parts builds. Like we said, do your research.
Make sure you have all your parts, please.
Yeah. Don't go into a project, especially if there's limited time frame.
Yes.
And not have all the parts.
That's even worse. It's already sketchy enough putting yourself into a time crunch.
Yeah.
But then to also, not have all the parts halfway through, not a good time.
Not a pleasant experience.
But generally speaking, when we do lifts, it's little leveling kits and stuff. I say little, we're putting 35s on the truck, which, when we were in high school, even then that was a massive tire, and now it's you can get stock vehicles with 35s. It's kind of funny.
A lot of the off-road fully optioned vehicles come with that, I think, except for that one.
Yeah.
Which is, I think that's on 33s. I'm pretty sure it's one of the only half tons that came out with a full off-road package that doesn't have 35s.
Which is kind of sad.
Very sad.
Oh well, Toyota.
Yeah.
Can't hit them all right.
I learned something interesting about that truck, actually.
The Tundra in question?
The Tundra in question.
Okay.
There's actually, I think it's Morse code. In the passenger base of the windshield, it says badass trucks in Morse code.
Really?
The dots. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yep.
That's
and
a little cheesy.
Little tires.
Badass trucks. Smallest tires from manufacturer.
Super
Nice.
badass.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But so it was a cool truck. We did the lift kit with it. We did the wheels and tires. I think I even have actually, if you go back into the photo album with all that stuff, I actually have a before and after picture I put together of them.
Is it down towards the base here?
No, maybe I actually need to still share that. Regardless, at the very bottom of the page there is the final product of the truck.
Let's take a look.
Yeah. It's a great look. We actually, so I did the lift this last weekend, but then just because of priorities and getting some other stuff done, we actually didn't get it aligned until today.
Okay.
But it's all set, ready to go now. It's awesome. Only a little bit of rubbing in the front was the big thing. We were worried that we'd have to do a lot of trimming.
Right.
Basically, if you look at the front fenders, there's a little chunk of plastic at the very bottom at the back of the front fender.
Okay.
And I had to trim, maybe that much off the inside of it, inch and a half, 2 inches type of deal.
Is
yeah.
this the video of it going lock to lock here?
Yeah, I think that is.
Let's watch this once it loads. Oh.
Much less noise this time. That's nice. I think you're getting. But yeah, no rub anywhere. It was very nice. There is a little bit of plastic in there that I might have to trim just a little bit more on the driver's side.
Okay.
I actually haven't even gotten the truck back yet. So, unfortunately, we don't have an alignment rack at my work. So we have to sublet all of our alignments.
Yep.
So we just haven't gotten it back from the sublet shop yet. But very, very cool build. And it was very interesting. I hadn't had the opportunity to really drive these trucks before. We've built for a couple of police departments. We had actually, a police department and one fire department had a fire command vehicle. Mm-hmm. So you can get this e-torque system on Jeeps and on Rams.
Okay.
Basically on the 3.6 liter or 3.8 liter, 3.6 liter V6s, mm-hmm. or the 5.7 V8, which is actually the truck that I just worked on this weekend. The very interesting system, though. It's a mild hybrid that replaces the alternator mm-hmm. on the engine, and it works similar to other systems where like it'll go into regen on decel and during braking, so it actually will charge a battery pack. You can't run the truck solely on this system, mm-hmm. but it does work for certain applications, like in the auto stop start on the engine. Instead of using the starter to restart everything, it'll actually use the motor itself.
Wow. Which
is pretty cool.
I wonder, that case has got to be pretty rugged to be able to do that.
Seriously, though, to get the whole torque of the engine. Now, I had an article pulled up on these things where, here. So I don't remember the exact details of it, but basically the battery pack for this system is mounted on the back of the cab. You can see it kind of in the highlight on the screen there. Mm-hmm. So basically the wires for the charging system, and then it just goes all through that generator.
Wow.
It runs on 48 volts.
Okay.
12 volts. So it still works like your normal alternator. We'll still charge the full system at like 14 point something volts when it's running. But then it uses other windings inside of it to create 48 volts.
Okay.
So it's basically 4 12 volts circuits in series to create your 48 volts.
That's smart.
Yeah.
That's really smart. I appreciate that because that could be retrofitted in theory.
That's right? Kind of the thought. I mean, I don't know how much they've gone through and changed I think these are called the third gen Hemis. They might be the fourth gens at this point. I'm really not sure. I'm not a Mopar guy. But I mean, assuming it's a third gen or fourth gen Hemi, I mean, either one of those engines was in production for like 10 years.
Yeah.
So in theory, why couldn't you, at least with that platform of engine, go back 10 years and retrofit stuff?
Right. It's not like they don't have like all the diagrams from all the wiring harnesses that they could just make them plug and play for each model.
Seriously. And I mean, I'm pretty sure like if you look at the top, it has obviously the big wire plug on the side of it. And I mean, I think that's the whole computer, like the hybrid brain, I think is right on top of it.
Okay. So it's compact, it's simple, it doesn't add a whole lot more to your truck. Like it doesn't completely change the design. It just adds to what was there.
Now, I will say there is a couple differences between the V6s and the V8s.
Okay.
So the V8 trucks use a air-cooled motor generator, specifically for the fact, or because the alternator itself is mounted so high on the pulley system that it can just be air-cooled, basically.
Gotcha.
The V6 trucks have a lower mount, and it makes it so there's no good airflow to it, so they're actually liquid-cooled.
Okay.
So I'm assuming it would be a lot harder to retrofit the V6 trucks just because you're then adding a cooling system at that point too.
Yeah, definitely.
But I don't see why you wouldn't be able to retrofit the V8s, which, I mean, really, you're just trying to save a little bit of fuel economy at that point.
Yeah, those are the engines I would like to keep on the road is the V8s. I mean, if that's what I have to do, I got to put an alternator on my truck that makes it better to drive. Like,
yeah, and so the motor itself actually doesn't create a ton of power. It's like 40, I think it's like 46 foot-pounds of torque at the pulley itself.
Still, though, I mean...
But through the multiplication of the belt and the pulley system, by the time it gets to the crankshaft on the V8 trucks, it's like 146 foot-pounds of torque, and that's before the combustion cycle of the engine even starts.
So, basically, 100, it's like an electric supercharger.
Yeah, that's actually a really good way of putting it.
That's really cool. I like that a lot.
Now, in its factory state, it's only used in like the auto stop start, where the engine shuts off, turns back on.
Right.
It helps you get from a dead stop, and it also will float the RPM between shifts, so it's easier on the transmission as well.
That's some reliability right there to be had and explored, I think.
Especially with Chrysler already not being known for the best transmissions. I'm not
Yeah.
going to say they're the worst, but, if they're actually consciously trying to make them last longer, then give them credit.
Yeah, especially if they have an engine package they feel is very strong, and I think this Hemi has proven that it is. It has its issues, just like everything else, but all in all, they've come up with answers, I think, and so far they've seemed to do really well.
The whole point of being a car enthusiast is you pick a brand that you're willing to deal with those specific headaches.
Right, exactly.
There's no brand that doesn't have headaches. That's the big thing.
That is for sure. I often like to say that there is no such thing as a nice car. They're all pieces of shit. They're
Seriously,
just in
though.
disguise. Like,
It's like, I'm a diehard, well, up to a certain year range, I'm a diehard GM pickup truck guy. It's just what I grew up driving. It's what my dad had,
Yeah.
so on and so forth.
totally
Right?
understand it.
But, like, I'm not going to sit here and say the 4L Slippy E is a good transmission. Like, my truck has a bad 4L 60E in it.
Yeah,
Like,
so you can't vouch for the transmission, but
No.
I think you can vouch for the engine.
I would vouch for
And
the engine all day long.
the body and the frame. They're
I just happen to be lucky with mine.
Well-
Usually they're not good.
okay. That's fair. I mean, rust resistance is one thing, but strong. I mean,
It is a strong.
those trucks take some abuse.
I'll have to go back into my photo vault of my green truck here, and we'll have to get some pictures at some point in time of the amount of dumb nonsense I've done to that poor pickup truck.
It's so crazy. I mean,
Oh man.
I feel bad for some of these trucks, but at the same time, that was a point in time where there was just so many of them on the road that it's like,
yeah.
it's what you had around to do it with, so you did
just did it.
Right.
What are you gonna do?
Kind of like ripping a Mustang in the backyard.
Oh man. I still wish I had that car back. I've been kind of looking to see if it pops up for sale.
That would be really cool.
The car in question is technically it was the first car I owned that had a transmission or engine and transmission in it. Actually,
You were moving up in the world, man.
yeah, it was. What was I, like 14?
14, yeah.
something like that.
Yep.
It was a 1966 Mustang 289 coupe with a 3-speed on the floor.
Yeah.
It was maroon and it had the black pony interior,
And that
which
bad
was
boy
out of the car.
ran.
It did. It also surprisingly would sit in one place in gear.
It had a lot of problems.
Yeah, I'm not saying.
But it ran.
Like, I've had people before be like, "Oh, you were 14 and had your first car." Like, "Oh, it's like your dad must have bought it for you or whatever the case is." I'm like, no. You're thinking about it wrong. This is a car that a 14-year-old could afford.
Exactly.
It wasn't a good car.
No.
By any stretch.
Not
of the
at
word.
all.
It was
And-
cool to have, and don't get me wrong, I wouldn't trade it for anything, but like, probably shouldn't have bought it.
Yeah, I mean, you had big plans for it. You were getting into metal fabrication, and you wanted to weld new floor pans into it. You wanted to fix the unibody. Like, we wanted to at least dress up the 289.
Yeah,
and
and just have fun with it. That's all that mattered.
Didn't it need a gas tank, too? Don't all old cars need gas tanks?
Anything from the north, at least, yes.
Yeah, they're all metal,
Yes.
rotten, gas is horrible. Just put a new one in it with new lines.
Yeah, and it's so many headaches will be saved, and quite frankly, there's so many repop gas tanks at this point in time. Like, it's almost stupid to not do it.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah.
I think when I was at your house, I was like, does that thing run? And you were like,
man.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think so. And I was like, well, let's find out.
We had just been like, remember we could just like pour a little gas down the carb and it would like just run for a minute and then it would die.
Well, we were doing that with the snowmobiles.
Yeah.
And then we were like, hey, you have a Mustang.
Let's do it with
that. Yeah, it would run for a little while, and then what did we do? Did something with the fuel. I think we like hooked up.
We had done, I don't even know if we did that much. I think we just kind of kept pouring gas down it until it just
Is that how
kept running.
we were ripping it in the? Did we have a fuel feed for that at all in the backyard, or did it just die and then we put gas in it and
when
it
it
didn't
died
start?
at the bottom? Yeah, I think that's what it was. I think we siphoned whatever was left out of the original tank, or we plugged the lines full of rust, or who knows.
Oh God. Yeah, that honestly, that's probably what happened. We probably because we did put gas in it.
We did. We tried.
So I'm thinking that might be why it died.
Yeah.
It starved.
So my parents have this big field, and basically we got the car running. We had been pouring a little gas in the carb, going to start it, and then it would run for a second and die. And we did it like 4 or 5 times, and then all of a sudden we did it one time, and we're like sitting there waiting for it to die, and it's just still running,
Yeah.
still running.
like-
And then all of a sudden we're like, holy shit, it still runs.
It still runs, and it idles. It just fucking idles.
Yeah, and it was, so we go in and get my dad. My dad's like, oh, this is awesome, and he takes it out in the backfield, rips it around for a second, and it dies, and then we got to push it back.
Yeah. Hey, it died. Go push it.
We
like-
got to get back on the driveway. We're like, thanks.
Okay. Yeah.
Awesome.
Appreciate it. Awesome.
But cool car. It was
Yeah, that was
fun,
a really
fun for
cool
a second
car.
car.
But yeah, so you got to do some cool stuff to the Ram.
Yeah. Got the
And,
lift kit done. I did the exhaust. We did a Borla S-type catback on it, which I have a bunch of sound clips and stuff. We're going to get that up at some point. And also with Borla in mind, I had this product I actually wanted to bring up and show you, which is, it's a product that like you wouldn't, like, at least I never would have thought that it needed reinventing.
Okay.
But then like Borla thought about it, and it makes perfect sense, and it's awesome.
Yeah. I
So,
love that.
We're talking about the Borla Switchfire X-Pipe. Now you just think an X-Pipe, 2 pipes in,
Yeah.
they hit in the center, and then two
What's so
pipes back
special
out, right?
about their X-Pipe?
So their X-Pipe actually has an X in it, but also has a straight through pipe at the same time. So
Okay.
when you look at the pipe, their X-Pipe at one point is basically like flowing down the exhaust. Mm-hmm. It goes into a Y pipe where it splits into 2. The upper channel goes into an X. The bottom channel goes straight through back to its other exhaust. After the X pipe, they Y back together into their original exhaust. Hopefully that's a good enough description if you're not watching. But if you are watching on the screen, we have Y pipe, straight pipe, and an X pipe, and then back to a Y pipe. And I guess the theory behind it is now there's going to be no any sort of exhaust pulses that aren't, they're going to be equal always, because you're going to get half a pulse on the same pipe it's supposed to be on, and half a pulse on the other pipe.
Gotcha. And then if you're at high velocity, it just becomes a straight exhaust piece.
Yes, pretty much.
I like this a lot.
It's crazy, and it's I don't know how long this product has been out, but I mean, when I found it, I was like, that's absolutely genius, and whoever thought of that deserves a pat on the back.
They basically found a way to give your car tone at the low end and the full growl at the top end.
Which is awesome.
That is remarkable.
I'd like to try one at some point.
These guys are savages.
Borla, I've always been a fan of Borla. There's a
Yeah.
couple exhaust companies, Borla, Magnaflow, Corsa, all great companies.
Definitely.
Great quality product. The Dynan exhaust from the BMW I just did recently, that full hand fab. Very, very nice. Very nice.
I appreciate a good exhaust system. I'll give a shout out to P Tuning, even though they don't make shit for my car anymore.
But they did, and they made a damn good one.
They did. They made some good stuff too.
We actually just got a chance to ride in your car again, or I did. Got a chance to ride in your car again today, and we were just complimenting on how good of a note your car has.
The exhaust note is really nice. I do like it a lot. It's probably my favorite thing, which obviously I went after the parts I went after because of this exhaust system. So
Yeah.
it makes me happy. It does the trick for now, till it's actually fast.
We're going to make it actually fast, hopefully soon here.
Oh, yeah.
At least going to be faster soon, right?
Faster for sure.
A little bit faster every now and then.
All the time I am trying to figure out ways to make that turd faster.
Yeah. The turd.
It is a turd.
Oh, man. So we had some other fun stuff this weekend, though.
We did.
I got the chance to look at these awesome sleds. My dad actually went and acquired 2 new snowmobiles. A 1971 or 72 Viking with a 334cc one-cylinder Kohler. I mean, it is a massive little one-cylinder engine.
Yeah, I bet that thing just chugs.
Oh, it sounds great. But more importantly, we acquired for our collection our first ever factory race snowmobile, which is, I mean, we have all been enamored by this sled. It is absolutely nothing you picture when you picture a race sled, but I have proof.
Yes.
This is a race sled.
It is, in fact, a race sled.
So, it is a 1971 Snow Pony 295R.
The R is important.
The R is very important. The R, I'm assuming, is for race.
I would imagine so. Because that just makes sense.
It makes sense, but at the same time,
Well-
there's not a lot of common sense anymore. So
Well, yeah, but this was made in a time when there
Well,
was some common sense.
Okay, fair enough. So R for race. So this snowmobile, we are the third owners of this sled. It transferred in one family. So the gentleman bought it in brand new in 1971.
Mm-hmm.
His granddaughter got it. Granddaughter sold it. We consider that just one
Yeah,
owner, basically.
that makes
you
sense.
want four owners, if you want to call it that.
One family owned it, which is pretty typical when you have something like that a family will use an item like that.
Exactly. And, I mean, the sled was purchased by him for his granddaughter.
Yeah.
So, regardless, then it was sold to the reseller we bought it from. So it was kind of like a dealership type of thing.
Okay.
So you can look at it 3 owners that way, if not 4 owners, regardless. This snowmobile, from what I've been able to find, we've been trying to research it at least a little bit every day, trying to just search every corner of the internet we can really come up with.
Yeah.
And from what we've been able to find, there's 4 in total of these right now.
That's it.
That's what I've been able to find, ours included. So the one pictured on the screen is actually our sled. It's really, really nice original condition.
Yeah,
Not
it
perfect.
looks-
It's missing a couple little things.
Okay.
But
Like what?
On the very nose cone, there's the little snow pony logo on the very front there, and there's 2 Phillips head screws on either side of it.
Okay.
One of the screws is missing. Besides that, I don't think it's missing anything else.
Oh,
So, like,
a screw
one screw
could be the difference.
between it being
Like,
not complete and complete.
Okay.
And it does share a lot of parts with the same year regular snowmobile. So in theory, if we could find parts off of one of those, we could recomplete this one again.
That would be really cool.
It would be very, very cool.
A fully complete, all original except one screw
Seriously though.
snowmobile.
And like the seat is perfect, no rips or anything. And it's very interesting too because the back of the seat actually extends down and is the mud flap.
Really?
Yes, I've never seen that
Huh.
before on a sled. It's very, very interesting.
Is it made of metal?
There's a metal pipe through the bottom. It's leather, the rest of it. Yeah, it's really cool. And
Okay.
it's embossed with the snow pony.
Is there a picture of the back of that?
Yes, I think there
here.
is actually. Right there.
Oh shit. Okay.
There you go. With its little trailer hitch
Huh.
and everything.
That thing is neat.
So, I don't have any more pictures of the Viking. The Viking is the sled next to it, which has like an Alcantara-y center section to the
dig
seat.
it.
We'll go into detail on that one in the future because
Okay.
we've all been enamored by the snow pony because of its rarity, but really we're overshadowing this Viking, which is probably not as rare, but I mean, it's equally as cool. It
Oh,
absolutely
definitely.
is something that we'll go into.
Next to that, the Mercs and the Articat.
And oh man, we actually went to the property yesterday and went to go start all of them. Every single snowmobile on the property started in one pole, except for that Viking took 2.
That's awesome.
Right,
I wish I could say that about my snowmobiles.
dude.
right now.
It's and I mean we're talking like okay. I said all the sleds on the property, all of the recently acquired sleds.
Okay. So, but that's quite
we're
a few.
talking like the newest one is a 1976. It starts in one pole, both
See,
of them.
When we say they don't make them like they used to,
Seriously,
this is
Oh
what
my
we
goodness.
mean. Like, yes, it is a literal, like, it's a sled with an engine.
Yeah.
Like, that's a sled.
And they're so much
That's
fun.
why we call them sleds. It's not a dirt bike
Yeah.
with a giant track and
Well, I mean, the original ones are
big twin engine.
they're toboggans.
Yeah.
Literally. I mean, they are the original concepts minus the Model T snowmobile. The original concepts of them were literally toboggans with conveyor belts from like freaking grocery stores, basically, with an engine.
Yeah.
They're sleds.
Yeah, definitely. And then, like, the first snowmobile was, what was that, a Ford Model...
The Model T, technically, from the 1920s.
Okay, with a set of tracks and skis on it.
Yeah, they added a second axle. There was a tag axle, and then they basically wrapped a track around the 2. There's now 2 wheels on the rear of both sides of the truck. They wrap a track around them, and then they replaced the front tires with skis.
Did you know that I've seen that vehicle in person
Really? That's
at the
really cool.
museum in Maine?
Really?
They have an auto museum up there, and they've got a lot of old Ford models from like the 20s and 30s.
That's really
and that's
cool.
one of the things that's up there. And they were like,
I'd love to find one
it
of
was a
those.
field trip I went on when I was a kid, and they were like, yeah, this was made in Ossipee, New Hampshire.
That's so cool.
And I was just like, So are we.
Hey, I'm made in Ospey, New Hampshire. That's
We all
awesome.
kind of live around that area, don't we?
Oh, that's awesome. So back to the snow pony here. In the same picture on the screen, you can see this massive one-cylinder engine on. This is also a big one-lunger. This is a 200, and they call it a 295. It's technically 292 cc's, but it's a JLO Rockwell, and it's
Okay.
actually specialty tuned to be big power. So the 295R for that year
Yep.
created 27 horsepower. And just for an example, this is a one-cylinder engine. They also sold a 340 twin model. Actually, here's your sheet right here. Yep.
Sheet.
So you can see right in the bottom there. Do the
there we
last
go.
two listings.
These
Yep.
here.
So the Snow Pony Model 340 Twin also came with a JLO, but this was 340 cc's and it makes 24 horsepower. This 292 one-lunger makes 27.
At a lower RPM as well.
Yes. So it's a torquier sled and it makes more power. It's very
I bet
interesting.
that thing's like secretly just a little rocket ship.
Oh, it's going to be so much fun. We're looking forward to riding it. It's going to be
It's-
phenomenal.
It's kind of like you'd rather drive a slow car fast than a fast car slow.
100% of the time.
You know, I said that today.
I'll say 70% of the time.
I said that to one of my coworkers today, and their response was, "I live my life a quarter mile at a time."
All right. All right. That's fair.
Yep.
So, oh, God.
Wow. Yes, I work with some rednecks. It's okay.
Don't we all? At least at some point in time in our life. Sure seems it at least.
Yeah, if you start from the bottom anywhere, that's pretty much what it's going to be.
Yeah. But, so, it's also very interesting. One other side thing to note with this sled. So, you can see on the sheet here, so this is an original Snow Pony document. $1,000 is what this snowmobile cost. Now, this is 1971.
That was a lot of money back then.
The inflation calculator is like $7,428 is what this snowmobile cost.
That's crazy.
It's absolutely insane. And we just happened to, like, the same guy that we bought the Viking from had this one.
Okay.
And my dad really liked the Viking. He really wanted it. It's also the first Viking to our collection that we've ever had. So
Okay.
that's really
That's
cool.
a milestone considering how many you guys have owned.
Exactly. It's just one of those rare sleds. You just don't see them often.
Yeah.
And then especially in like the one that he found. And this guy, he knew the sled was worth something. The funny thing is we actually paid more than its original sticker price for it. So
Wow.
he knew it was worth money.
Oh yeah,
But
definitely.
he didn't, and he knew it was rare, but he didn't realize how rare it was, I guess, or he really didn't care. And in all, he actually is a Viking snowmobile collector. He's
Okay.
not a snow pony collector.
Gotcha. So this may have come along with a
was-
Viking
exactly.
at some point somehow.
Yeah,
'Cause
and
I'm-
he just didn't care.
I'm guessing if that family was a snowmobiling family, that if he bought one of them from them, he may have potentially been in the market for other stuff. Like,
Yeah,
it just seems
for anything really.
it's so
Snowmobiling.
unlikely that something like that lasts that long now.
No, it's with like a throwaway society, and it seems like stuff is designed to fail. I mean, there's always the argument on if that's really true or not, or if we're just kind of, whatever. We don't need to get into all that.
Call it conspiracy, call it just observation. I don't know.
But I mean, quite frankly, all of our 70s snowmobiles started in one pole except for the one, and like my dad's 2015 Polaris takes 3.
Yep. All of mine aren't even new. They're 20 years old, and I got one. Starts 2 to 3 poles every single time, but it's not one.
It's crazy. Now, yesterday was a warm day. There was a lot of stuff going for him, whatever. But
So?
still happened. Still
happened.
Still can say it.
There's proof in the pudding.
Yeah, and that's all that matters.
I hope we get to actually throw down some racing this year.
That's the plan. Obviously we wanted to this last year. There wasn't a lot of snow this year, and other shit just fell through, so it didn't happen. But this upcoming year, I definitely think that's going to be on the docket.
Yeah, I think it'd be a lot of fun, especially if we get to take out Kawasaki's again.
Oh, dude, the Cowie. We're gonna send the Merc. Grayson's gonna be on the Phaser, and actually, this upcoming weekend, I haven't even told you any of this stuff yet. We're gonna be we're probably buying a Skidoo on Sunday.
What?
Yep.
Tell me it isn't so. Why?
Because it's a really good one.
Is it a really old one?
70s.
you don't need to explain anymore.
It's a cool sled.
I understand it now.
1970. I'm gonna get this wrong. We're technically looking at 2. We're getting this actually gonna be Grayson's potential second race sled for the 340 class.
That's pretty sick.
So, 340 free air.
What's he on right now?
Phaser. Yep.
That thing kicks ass.
His Phaser's real fun. It's a cool sled. We'll have to show some pictures.
He's
of
got
that.
a TikTok page too for it, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. We're gonna feature him at some point in time because, I'd like to ask him why he likes to modify his stuff.
Yeah, totally.
But I lost my train of thought where I was going with that.
That's okay. We have been pretty busy as of late at my job, given the time of year that it is. But I got to see a really cool car come in today.
What type of car? Am I about to be upset?
Probably. It was a right off the shelf, within the break-in period, GR Corolla. Core in all black.
See, I'm really mad because I haven't even had the opportunity to see one like passing in person yet. I haven't seen one yet.
I got to pop the hood.
I
got to put it in the air. It was nice.
You got some pictures and stuff for me though, right?
I did.
Let's do some looking then. Let's see what we got.
See where we're at here. But yeah, I mean, I think it's worth MSRP for sure in the core.
Okay.
So
look at that thing. Oh man.
Yeah, dude.
Oh man, that's a pretty car.
So this is just me taking some pics with the new camera I have, trying to
get some. I can definitely see. Oh, the 3 exhaust pipe. I forgot about that. Oh, man, that's really cool.
So this is similar to like the Borla idea, where basically exhaust flow determines, like it can like override the internal and go to basically a straight pipe. That's why it is 3. Because the outer 2 do most of the exhaust work at low RPM.
But when it has a like increase in flow through
once
the pipe,
it goes into boost, it comes through the center exit. It sounds
that's really cool.
Really cool.
Okay.
So
it's a 3-cylinder.
It's a
triple
3-cylinder.
Remember when they first introduced this, we were talking, Polaris was talking about releasing the new engine, which ended up being the 850 boost. Mm-hmm. But we were talking, we wanted them to bring a triple. And then, of course, Toyota just did it for us.
Hey, as long as somebody's doing it, like
triple somewhere.
Yeah, there's got to be a triple. So yeah, there's another shot of that, and that is probably my favorite part on the side skirt.
Yep. It reminded me of something else.
Yeah, little
GR4 action.
185 Celica here, the GT4 monster in rally that it was, and then to be followed by the car I believe they got caught cheating in.
Yeah.
The ST205 Celica, which happens to be my favorite. This is my second favorite.
Yeah.
I thought I was getting the other one, but this banner is pretty nice. So.
Regardless, it's still cool.
I'll take it. I like the history of Toyota and rally, and the fact that the Yaris. So the Yaris is in it, but I don't believe it's a 3-cylinder. I'm pretty sure it's a 4-cylinder in rally. So that is a little disappointing to me. I understand the 3-cylinder because of emissions and crap.
Yep.
Which I think the government should keep their nose out of for the most part, but who am I to say? I'm not in charge. But yeah, I mean,
at least put their nose into other much higher emissions creating things than the car community.
That would cost money.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
And make other...
There's that tiny little 3-cylinder, though. They've got the
thing.
3 bars on the cover, which is neat. They got the 3 big bars on the top of the airbox, which I guess is kind of a nice touch.
I enjoy the attention to detail. It's nothing crazy, but it's just little, hey, here's a little Easter egg, here's a little something.
They tend to do stuff like that sometimes. They go a little above and beyond, I think, sometimes, like they did with the Tundra. It says TRD Pro everywhere. Like, if you didn't know it's a TRD, you're literally blind, because every corner of that truck either says Tundra, Toyota, or TRD. It's kind of obnoxious. This, however, is nice. It is simple. It looks like a regular Corolla under the hood, except for the GR thing. And once you take that off, you can see underneath it, and I don't know if I got a good picture of that or not. Oh, there's the turbo. It's kind of blurry.
Yep.
Took it out of focus, but yeah, I mean, beefy rear diff in this thing.
Is it?
Beefy axles. Yep.
Okay.
This car...
So they built it with the intent for it to make some more power.
Make more power, last a long time making power. That seems to be what they were going for here.
I'm into that. I mean, that's the whole thing with GR recently. The Gazoo Racing development has been, kind of make fun sports cars again.
Yeah, exactly.
Stuff that's going to last.
I love that. Like, I've been waiting forever. I am obviously a big fan of Toyota stuff. I've spent a large portion of my life deep diving the internet to find out how to make them fast.
Yeah, because it is kind of a secret. It's a very niche community. And it seems very safeguarded in some aspects, too.
A lot of what happened is because they went full economy and made anything that was even remotely sporty a Lexus. So it put most enthusiasts out of the price range for a long time.
Okay, I guess that makes sense.
And then the old
cars... it does make sense, but...
The old cars were loved. I mean, like, the Celicas, even... I think the front-wheel drive ones probably didn't do that well here, but if people knew about the GT4, they probably wanted a Celica back in the day,
Yeah.
but then they didn't even really offer anything because the newer Celica was like...
Well,
not
too great.
I like one of the engines that it came in, but don't really like the other one.
They weren't... Not the most
the styling
attractive
wasn't
car either.
great.
No.
Some look cool, sure. I love them. I follow people who do make power in them and stuff because
make them cool.
I like to see what people's ideas are.
Yeah.
But all in all, like, I think the old generation was the best looking one. I think the TC is a better looking version to replace the Celica with. In the first generation, I'm not huge on the second generation of TC. Obviously, it's got a better motor and a 6-speed, but otherwise...
6-speeds are always nice.
I mean, maybe I could second gen swap my first gen. That would be cool too.
I mean, have people done it?
Not that I'm aware of.
Well, then let's do it. Why not?
Okay.
It's not the Modcast for no reason.
It pretty much it would pretty much bolt in, I think.
Okay.
Based on...
I mean, they use the same engine, right?
They do not.
Oh.
So the first gen uses a 2AZ,
right,
which has the cam phasing on the intake.
Okay.
The 2AR that comes in the second gen is a 2.5 liter that has cam phasing on both.
Intake and exhaust.
Intake and exhaust.
Interesting.
If you watch Frankenstein Motorworks on YouTube, this is a little niche for the Toyota people out there. He races a 2AR swapped MR2 Spider.
Okay.
He has made 270 wheel horsepower with that engine naturally aspirated.
That's pretty damn cool.
And I believe other than pistons and connecting rods and then some valve train stuff, it's a stock motor. Which obviously he broke it open and did stuff to it.
Right.
But parts-wise, it's not that bad.
I appreciate that, though.
And
I always liked NA engines. I know there's some famous quote that's like, people that need turbos and stuff don't know how to build engines.
That's not true.
It's only that it's maybe to a minuscule degree. Maybe. Maybe.
I mean, yes, but there's different reasons you need to be good at building. Like, there's different things you need to be good at doing to make a high horsepower NA engine versus a
boosted
high horsepower boosted engine.
But regardless, I do absolutely enjoy when people, like, not that I don't want to say like turbos or forced inductions like overdone. I drive a boosted car, you drive a boosted car.
I enjoy it.
That. And I very much enjoy my boosted car, but there is just something a little extra special about high revving NA engines.
I love the old Civic SIs and stuff with the 2 liters and
that'll just rev to the damn
moon.
moon.
Yeah, the Acura NSX
rotaries.
Not the NSX, the RSX. The NSX is a sick car, but the RSX, I do enjoy that, which is why I do follow those Celicas a little bit because they rev to like almost 9,000 RPM.
That is actually pretty cool, though.
So they make about 180 at the tire, I want to say, or 180 at the crank. It's a 1.8 liter.
Okay.
It's nothing crazy.
It's not designed for crazy power. You can make it, but
Lotus
for it.
Put a supercharger on it, and they actually rip in those things.
Well, it's Lotus.
Yeah.
They can make anything rip.
Yeah.
Without really trying that hard either, it seems.
So we've got a new logo.
We do. So a good friend of mine, in Braden Bolton. We have his Instagram pulled up here. You should give him a follow. Fellow Subaru friend. I actually worked with him for a period of time. That's actually how him and I met initially. he actually also does want to come up on the podcast too at some point in time.
That'll be cool.
Yeah.
Oh, we gotta log in to
Ask him why he modifies. But yeah, we did. He has a 20. So I believe his car is a 2016 WRX. It's got a 2-liter. It's got some stuff done to it. I helped him do some coilovers in it when he got it. It's wicked fun car. Him and I actually road tripped our WRXs from here to Michigan last year for last year's Grid Life Midwest, and it was grueling and awful, but we did it, and our Subarus made it.
I did the alignment on his car too.
Yes, you did. That's right. You did do that.
That car was, I do have to say, very
it's very fun
on rails.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I set it up and I brought it out, and he didn't have any gas in the car, but I took it out for just a test ride.
Yeah, just to make sure. Little flicks of the wheel.
Yeah, I don't beat on people's cars, so I just took it for a cruise. But coming on and off the highway, just feeling how much actual steer in and grip it had was impressive. Because I drive a ton of cars.
Yeah,
I
all
know
the time.
What they all feel like, and that was impressive.
It's I will say, I like my Subarus, whatever, Subaru boy. But
all-wheel drive.
The symmetrical all-wheel drive in Subarus is very, very good.
Yep.
They're very fun to drive. They wheel a little interesting, especially if you get some understeer. I've had understeer once or twice in my car. Quite frankly, it's terrifying. But wheeled through, no crash.
I'm not huge on the boxer thing, but I feel like if we did a flat 6 or a 120-degree V6 in a Subaru bodied car, it would be
incredible.
One of the coolest cars ever made.
Yeah.
That all-wheel drive system is good, and I'm curious to know if the GR has as good of a 50-50 as the symmetrical all-wheel drive that Subaru actually has.
Just go buy one and then we'll compare them.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just that easy, because they're so easy to find recently. But back to the logo again. I want to pull it up and let everybody see.
Oh, yeah.
So this is our very early. This is technically logo iteration number 2.
See if I can find this here.
Anybody that watches our teaser videos on YouTube will see the original spinning logo, the Toyota logo with a couple other brands and whatnot inside of it.
Where is that?
I think it's the most recent one I sent you. There you go.
There it is. Okay. So we will.
The most important iteration is we wanted to bring the Polestar blue into the new logo.
Yeah.
So the Modcast.
Welcome back to the Modcast.
Welcome to the Modcast. This is going to be awesome. I think it's it's an early logo. It's something I really like. It's something we're probably going to rock for a little bit, but
yeah, I'm about it though. It's cool. I think he did a great job with it.
He did.
I really do like it.
This was the second iteration we had gotten from him. I liked the idea of where the first one was going. It wasn't exactly what we wanted, but one change around and there it was.
We also got some new audio.
Yes. So we've been trying to invest in our stuff recently. You'll also notice too, I think, is this considered our first video episode now?
Yeah.
So, hi.
Hi.
As you see, we've been talking. You can actually see us this time. We got some camera action going. We got some nice microphones going now.
They're out of sync.
The colors are out of sync. We had tried really hard on the episode that we did on Monday to get them synced up and the colors were scrolling perfect, and then,
every time
you mute, you can't hear him now. It comes back, it changes again. It's still off. But
it's okay.
We have our Modcast logo. We have our equipment getting set up.
I'm about it.
Yeah, we're going to start getting some more content out because, now I've pulled my head out of my ass, so I'm going to start actually recording some stuff when I'm actually working.
You're good at it. You're definitely good at it.
We'll see.
Yeah, well, so far so good.
So far.
Check this shit out.
Oh, man. Nope. Not a fan of that. Please don't.
This is what we mean by don't do things if you don't know what you're doing. Like modifying a car.
Like
get different wheels.
Your calipers.
Get different wheels.
Please. Get it one size bigger. Get a different offset. There's ways to not have to take a grinder to your damn Brembos. Come on.
Doesn't that just hurt your soul?
Yes, especially because I want them on my car, and it sucks to see people just doing that to theirs.
Yeah, exactly. Have the decency to just look it up. Just look it up. I mean, if you're not willing to look it up, you're probably not listening to this. But for those who know somebody who needs that, just tell them.
Yeah, like it's
Look it up, please.
Well, we had kind of talked about. I don't remember if it was the failed Monday episode or if it was previous, but we had talked about like if you want to get into modifying your car, reach out into your community and stuff, see who might else be out there. It's like, and hopefully somebody that will tell you not to do that.
Yeah, that would be good if you didn't do that. That was so brutal when my coworker showed me that. I was just like, what?
It's like, oh, that hurt my feelings.
Who thinks that's a good idea? All right, so I wanted to show you this thing.
Okay.
I've been beating up on Toyota for their crappy truck.
Okay.
Been praising them for their car. This is just kind of weird. Oh,
and of course,
unavailable. Let me Google this real quick.
Here, we're gonna put a pause in the episode here real quick, and we'll get it pulled back up in 2 seconds.
Extremes.
And we're
All
back.
right, we're back.
Their expert drivers
Let's check
can
this out.
handle what most drivers cannot.
The first autonomous
Our team
drift
is
with
developing
self-driving
on-demand
GR
autonomy
Cupra.
to
It's
prevent
an
car
interesting
crashes,
title.
Going autonomous.
temporarily giving an ordinary
Isn't
driver
that a nice
Whenever
typo?
you're ready.
the drifting skills of an expert.
That's crazy. So this is 100% the car is doing this. Steering, brake control, everything. That's impressive.
Pretty sure that's Ryan Turk behind the wheel right there. Or Osbo.
I would be.
One of the two, I believe.
Copy that.
That's really cool. It's very interesting that they actually would even be.
That's Turk.
It is Turk for sure. Those
You
are
see
his
that?
glasses.
Hand by his sides.
That's insane.
It's just going. It's got EPS.
Oh, look at that.
He's not pulling the handbrake. He's just a passenger.
Imagine going, like, I don't know if I'd be comfortable with that. I have a whole thing with autonomous vehicles. Like, I trust me.
More than I trust a computer to know what it can't really see.
Or the person that coded it or whatever. Like, I can see what I'm dealing with. And like assistance is nice, but the full autonomous thing is... But regardless, the fact that they're able to actually do that, I mean, that's insane.
It's a closed course. It's been programmed, I would imagine, for that specific course.
Exactly. It's not like scanning the road and drifting.
Not yet. Because their plans for this are to adapt it to ADAS.
Really?
For stability correction to basically prevent accidents. They want the car to take over and drive you out of whatever
is
thing
happening.
you did.
Oh, see, I don't like that because that sounds like they're going to make it so you can't drift.
Pretty much.
Good things, but bad things, but good things. Like, obviously, we don't want to see people crashing. It's one of those things that, like, the technology that they're developing is a great thing, but I just hope we can override it.
Yeah, let me
Maybe
shut it off.
unplug a wheel speed sensor or something.
Yeah, like, I'm sure it'll just go into, like, a limp mode.
Probably. At
Which
this point
would
in
be
time.
awful, especially if you've got a Supra.
Yeah.
Like, you can actually throw that thing around a little if you wanted to.
I actually have some video footage somewhere. I'll have to pull it up, but our friend that works at the Enterprise, he was able to rent. Enterprise has like a bunch of GR Supras in their fleet. Of
Okay.
all things, to the 4, like the 2 liters and the 3 liters. They have both.
Oh, wow.
So he rented a 2-liter one. Nothing to write home about. It was a fun car to drive. It was great to look at.
Yeah.
But then he got the 3-liter one, and that thing's a drifting machine. The amount of donuts we pulled, I mean, we would never do such a thing, but the amount of donuts we did in that car in closed courses.
Closed courses. Wouldn't
course.
do it.
No, I would never do it out on public streets. That's illegal.
That is illegal. I didn't do
Anyway,
that. All kidding aside, though.
all kidding aside, they are fun cars.
And that engine I've grown to respect. I wasn't really happy that they used the BMW, but
It's a good engine.
Papadakis Racing uses stock cylinders and they use the stock piston rings
Okay.
for their 1,000
Really?
horsepower engines in Formula
Interesting
Drift.
that they do the piston rings. You would think that would be like one of the first things they would be wanting to upgrade.
Apparently, it is perfectly matched for the cylinder wall,
Huh.
and they had custom pistons made.
Well, I tell you what. I trust Papadakis Racing over myself in building a race engine, so I'll
He's-
take his word for it.
This guy is a genius, and you know he is because he's bald and he just talks, and you're like, that's so smart.
Is that all we need for qualification night?
Yeah,
Just
it's
shave
like
my
the
head
Lex-
and all of a sudden I'm smarter.
Yeah, it's the Lex Luthor thing. Like,
Alright.
just
Oh, okay. I see what you're
Just
getting
like a
after,
mad
actually.
genius.
Okay, just for engines and Toyota stuff. I'm not going to complain with that.
I appreciate it.
yeah.
Watched a lot of his content. If you have any interest in Toyota, anything, just
Steve, it's Papadakis Racing, right?
Papadakis Racing, Toyota Formula Drift Team, Stefan Papadakis. It's not Steven, it's Stefan.
And then, if I remember correctly, so he built Frederick Osbo's GR Supra, which was the first, the Red Bull, or I'm sorry, the Rockstar GR Supra in last season of Formula Drift.
Yes,
I believe was the debut
I
year.
think so. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was a very good car, and he had a very successful season too.
Yep, 1,000 horsepower. They got two different engines, I guess, that they put in there. One's a 3-liter, one's a 3.2 liter.
Just depends on the track type of thing.
Yeah, and then they interchange turbos depending on like
That's cool.
what they need for a given track. So if
Big
they
engine,
need, like,
little turbo, little engine,
little
big
engine,
turbo,
big turbo, big engine, big turbo,
little engine.
exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
And they spool their turbos with nitrous, so
That's one way to do it, I guess.
it all runs on the AEM Infinity, I guess.
AEM's a nasty company.
They do make some nasty stuff.
AEM does,
Haltech
Haltech
does.
all that good stuff.
Haltech makes some good stuff.
Yeah. I think that's pretty much been the Modcast.
I think it has been the Modcast.
This is actually, more importantly, this has been episode 11, the rerun,
The rerun.
where we got, hopefully, both mics going.
I believe we do.
Well, that's a good thing, because I don't want to do this a third time.
No, I don't either.
Well, I don't want to do episode 11 a third time.
I'd
We'll
rather
be back
do-
for episode 12,
When we do this next, please be 12.
not 11.3.
Here's hoping.
Yes, sir. I'm Gabe Anderson.
I'm Jake Overall.
Have a good night, everybody.